So this video we are going to be going over the Reckoning Easter egg. Now this one can get confusing, so I've ordered the video in a way that it makes it easy to understand and follow for yourself. I'm also going to add timestamps in the description so that if you're looking for a specific step you can jump right to it. Other than that, let's begin. So before we begin with any actual main steps, first you have to reach the PackAPunch room and essentially turn on the power. Interact with this button to turn on the particle accelerator, then there will be 12 crystals that spawn that you're going to have to destroy. Once destroyed, you're free to use the PackAPunch and move on to the first step. Now, on the way up to PackAPunch, you would have had a robot round, and these are crucial as they'll drop Klaus Arms. And the way to do this is to shoot the arm of a robot to destroy it, and it should drop an arm. You're going to have to wait until the second special round before you can get the other arm, but for now make sure you collect the first arm. Now if you head into the Android assembly room, there will be many locations where you can find Klaus Legs. I'll do my best to show all the ones I know in the video, but you're looking for 2 of Klaus's legs, and once you find them you can go over to this Klaus body and attach the arms and the legs that you've got so far. Now if you head over to the Mutant Research Lab, now that power is on, there will be a zombie called a geneticist that once killed will drop a keycard that you will then use to go ahead and open up this storage area to pick up some DNA. Also while in this room, go ahead next to the mangler inside this tube and there will be a syringe next to it that you need to pick up. Now head back into the PackAPunch room and jump into this beam, and it will now turn you into a particle that you need to maneuver down this beam to hit a zombie that has now spawned. This will knock the zombie out of the beam and onto the floor. Go ahead and interact with the zombie and you will pick up a blood sample. Go back into the Mutant Research Lab and place the syringe back next to the mangler. This will then inject the mangler with the blood, releasing the mangler, which you now have to attack and destroy. Once defeating it, it will drop a Fowler Mutant injector, which we're going to need for the next step. However, if you mess it up, you can also buy another one here. Next, head into the room with the Forsaken, and there will be this bioscanner up some stairs. You need to use this mutant injector in front of the bioscanner, and this will then unlock this door, revealing a portal. Now this is as far as you can get into the Easter egg without the new wonder weapon, so I'm going to talk through how to get that now and the upgrades. So head back into the Mutant Research Lab, and there will be these 2 screens that have static on them, and will periodically flash a word. You need to memorize the first letter of both of these words, and put them together to create an element on the periodic table. Go ahead and look at the periodic table to now find this combination of letters, and there will be a number at the top left of the box, which we are now going to use as the code for the door above us. If the code is a 2-digit number, add a 0 at the start to make it 3 digits, and this will open up the door, revealing this machine with a cyst inside. You now need to get 3 vermin souls and 3 zombie souls next to this machine. However, the machine will only suck up the souls if you damage the enemy rather than killing it. So make sure you weaken 3 vermin first and then 3 zombies after for the machine to suck in. And once all 6 are done, this will charge the cyst and you can pick it up. Next, head down to the floor below you with all the plants inside, and there will be these 3 giant mushrooms that once stood underneath. The cyst will then charge from the plant's energy. Now there are 3 plant locations and these will be the same in every single game, and to charge the cyst you need to stand underneath, avoiding damage from the zombies and the plant as it will be spitting acid at you. Next, head up to the Forsaken room and there will be this monitor here. Go ahead and interact with this, and there will be 3 other monitors in this room that also have the same text that you need to go and interact with. Once complete, this will now spawn an Uber Klaus. You need to go ahead and shoot off its shoulder pads, but don't destroy it as you need to kite it into this electrical field that has now spawned in front of the Forsaken. The Forsaken's soul will now transfer itself into this Uber Klaus, and you will now have to do a mini boss fight against the Forsaken. This fight acts just like a normal Uber Klaus, so taking him down isn't that difficult, and once destroyed this will leave a glowing orb that now if you interact with, this will use the cyst you charged to create the wonder weapon. Now let's talk about the upgrades for the Gorgofex. There are 2 options here and you can only upgrade one of them each game. There is a green option and a blue option for the upgrade. Both have the exact same damage numbers, however their charged effect is slightly different. The blue one will pulse an enemy into the sky and then let them explode, however the green one will leave a pool of acid on the floor. So it's completely up to you and your playstyle which one you choose, however I'm going to go over both of them now. I'm going to start with the blue upgrade, which is arguably the easier of the 2. First of all, go over to where Juggernog is and you'll see Blanchard's office. You now need to interact with this and it will give you a voice line. This then begins the upgrade side quest. Head back down to the spawn, and inside of this teleporter room there will be a red button that you need to go and interact with. This will spawn a maintenance Klaus, which you need to now protect, as a wave of zombies is now going to come in and try and destroy him. This now disables one of the elevators in spawn. You now need to go and use the other elevator to reach the top of the disabled one, to then fly down and activate the 3 switches inside. This will then turn on the elevator, and Panos' soul will be sitting at the top as an electrical orb. This electrical orb will now attach itself to multiple zombies in the area. Once you've destroyed around 5 zombies with this electrical aura, Panos will now materialize, and you can interact with him to upgrade the wonder weapon to the Gorgofex C. Now if you choose to go for the other upgrade, instead of going down into spawn, you want to go into the quantum computing room and pick up a Strauss counter. Using this will then show you the location of our next path. If the Strauss counter says out of range, it means the object is in the opposite tower, and then you need to follow the Strauss counter until the number on the top reaches around 9.5. This should leave you to a zombie window spawn. Make sure you use a charged shot of your wonder weapon into this spawn, and this should drop this green vial that you can now pick up. Opening your inventory at this point will show that there are 3 more parts that you need to find. There is a part in the Forsaken room next to this weapon upgrade machine. The second part is outside near Speed Cola on the floor, and then the third part is back in the room where you charged the cyst, just on the left side here. Once all are collected, go back up to Blanchard's office, and you can now build a device next to his room. This will then start a lockdown where you need to defend this device, and once complete, this will gas out Blanchard, killing him and leaving his essence in the vial. Pick this up and take it back to the room with the cyst, and take it back to the lab where you can now put the Gorgofex into this machine and hold to interact to now upgrade your gun to the Gorgofex N. Now around the time that you've upgraded your wonder weapon, you should have all of the parts for Klaus, and at round 16 the first Uber Klaus will spawn in, and you need to make sure that Uber Klaus shoots its electrical attack in the area of the Klaus that we're trying to build. This will then activate Klaus, and he will get off of the wall and start typing on his computer. You now need to complete a full round, then he will finish, and you need to escort Klaus up to the Forsaken room where there will be a SAM trial waiting for you to complete. The SAM trial objective is always the same, and it's just to kill enemies within the area. And once complete, Klaus will make his way into the portal and onto a new machine where he asks for a brain. Next, make your way back into the quantum computing room, pick up Melee Macchiato, and you then need to melee this machine open, and there will be this virtual brain that you can then interact with, which you need to take back up into the teleportation lab and into this machine right here. Now we're going to work on opening up the portal. First thing we need to do is there is a computer in this room with a 4-digit code that we need to find. Now if you head back over to the director's offices, there will be multiple pages of information scattered around this room. There are 3 that spawn in each game, and I think there are 6 locations total. Now once you've interacted with it, you'll see that there is a number at the top left and a date. You need to make sure you know the number and the date, as we're going to use these numbers to create a code. The number at the top left is going to be part of the code, and the first number of the date is going to show the sequence in which we need to order the numbers to get the code. So to start, we have 3 and then 8. The next is 1 with the date 7, so this goes before the previous code, making the code 1-3. The next code is 2 and 12. 12 is bigger than 7 and 8, so this goes last in the sequence. And the final is a 4 and 9. So once put together in order, the code is 1, 3, 4, 2. Once complete, head back into the PackAPunch room, and this computer will now say ready. You need to interact with this, and then some cosmic vermin are going to spawn. You need to kill all 5 of these, and once the timer is up, you can now interact with this orb to pick it up onto the end of your gun. Now make your way back into the teleportation lab and shoot a charge shot at the portal to break off all of the crystals. Next, make your way back into the quantum computing lab and use a charge shot of the wonder weapon into this window area here, and a head will fall down to the floor that you need to pick up. Next, you need to collect some water, so go either into spawn or next to where we built Klaus. And there will be this water collector on the floor that you can melee next to where these sprinklers will activate. Once the sprinklers are activated and fill the bucket with water, you can now interact to hold the head inside one of these buckets, and then pick up the head again, and this will be treated as a soul box. Any zombies that come near you that glow purple, once killed, will drop souls that charge the head. Once this head is charged, make your way back into the teleportation lab and hold interact on the portal to place the head within the portal and charge it. Once charged, we now need to insert 4 Casimir devices into this machine here. At this stage, all of the Janus security boxes around the map will have opened up, and you can pick up empty Casimir devices. You now need to pick up a total of 4 of these, and you will find these glowing purple items around the map that you need to capture within these Casimir devices. Once you have a total of 4, come back to the device in the teleportation lab and place them into this machine here. This will now start a lockdown where zombies are going to start coming out of the portal, and there will be these red switches on the wall that you need to activate to turn green. Between each switch activation, you have to wait 10 seconds for the next one to be available, and once all of them are activated green, the lockdown will be finished and the portal will be ready for you to enter to go to the boss fight. Now once you've entered the portal, you'll be given an option whether to help out Sam or RICHTOFEN. So for example, if you click to help RICHTOFEN, you'll be fighting Sam, and vice versa. I'll tell you up front, defeating Sam is a lot easier than defeating RICHTOFEN, but I'm going to go through both of them now anyway. So once you've chosen your option, the elevator you're standing on is now going to rise, and when it reaches its first level, you now need to exit, and there will be 3 machines that are going to act as soul boxes, and you need to get 10 kills next to each one to charge them up. Once complete, head back onto the elevator, and this will take you up to the 2nd floor, where there will be these purple lights around the room, and some of them will be covered with crystals. You now need to shoot these crystals, and once all of the lights are free, you can then head back onto the elevator, and this will then take you up to the 3rd and final floor, which is where the boss fight will play out. So first I'm going to talk about the boss fight against Sam. Now this boss fight comes in 3 stages, and there are 3 distinct attacks that Sam has. The first one is a laser attack, so as long as you put an object between you and the laser, you should be fine, and once the laser is over, she then opens up some crit points that you can then attack and do damage to her. Her second attack shoots out electrical energy mines. While she's spinning and doing this, she's also vulnerable to attack. Other than this, the rest of the time she's immune, so there is no point actually shooting her to try and do damage. Her third and final attack only happens in her last phase, and this is like a pulse bomb, which will shoot you into the sky. You now need to glide back down into the arena. However, if you stay in the sky too long, she will attack you in the sky and instantly down you. Now in between these stages, Sam will disappear and a Sam trial will actually activate. However, this Sam trial is critical, as if you don't get a perfect score, just like in Grief, you will get a weapon nerf. Now this makes your weapons completely useless for 30 seconds, so you want to do your best to actually complete the Sam trial, and as a reward, if you do complete the Sam trial, it will actually give you a free perk drop. So there are actually 2 benefits for completing these Sam trials. Now that is everything you need to know about the Sam boss fight, so let's move over to RICHTOFEN. Now the RICHTOFEN bite has only 2 stages. The first one, RICHTOFEN, is in an Uber Klaus suit. He acts exactly the same like every other Uber Klaus has up until this point, other than he has a lot more health. As you would a normal Uber Klaus, you want to shoot off both of his shoulder pads to expose his armor from shield, and then you can go and attack his mid-center directly until his outer armor breaks. Now once his armor is broken, that is stage 1 complete, and stage 2, RICHTOFEN jumps out and has a jetpack and a Wunderwaffe. Now I can't lie, this stage is super hard to do. In this stage, RICHTOFEN will be flying around, shooting you with the Wunderwaffe constantly, and periodically he will shoot into the sky and have an immune phase, where you just have zombies attacking you. However, you need to look out, as when he returns back to the battlefield, he will come in and drop a load of bombs as if he's a precision airstrike. So make sure to look out in the sky for his attacks and dodge them so you don't get instantly downed, and then make sure you use as much cover as you can to avoid his Wunderwaffe shots. So I would definitely recommend using gobblegums, play it in squads if you need to, or if you're just looking for any completion of the Easter egg, definitely choose the Sam option, as it will give you a much easier time. And that is about it for the Reckoning Easter egg. Now there was a lot of information there to take in. As I said at the start of the video, I'm going to leave timestamps so you can jump to certain steps if you want to go back and look at them again. But for now, thanks for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.